Welcome, welcome. How about that intro, guys? Welcome to TON Real Talk. I am Angela Brazington from TON US Hub, and this series is where we go deeper into what is actually happening inside TON's ecosystem, the builders, the activity, and most importantly, the people pushing this technology forward. Today's episode is especially exciting for me because we're talking about universities and the next generation of builders. And if you know me, you know I love that. And I've got some great guests joining me for the conversation, including William Dath from Ep.5 Capital and Kun Peng from Blockchain Builders. And I'm excited to dive in with each of you in just a little bit. Why don't you each come up and say hello first?
Kun, you go first.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Kun, and Angela said I'm part of the Stanford blockchain builders community. I also run an accelerator here at Stanford Blockchain Accelerator, help a lot of founders and builders, and also teach a class at Stanford University and run a bunch of conferences here as well. So happy to be here. Excited to sharing with you guys things happening in the blockchain builders community.
Thank you.
William Dath. I'm the Chief Partnership Officer of Ep.5 Capital. We're a public listed business company. Actually on NASDAQ. We support and help scale TON and Telegram. We're independent, and we have various initiatives, including acquiring games and platforms and things that are built on TON and Telegram. But we're also very, very active in and believe in the next generation of coders and developers, and because as far as we're concerned, that's where the R&D labs for the future are, and especially actually I'm on a campus right now, so this is what we think. Yeah, really pleased to be here, especially with both of you.
Thank you both so much for that. Now, if you look at the history of technology, some of the most important innovations started right in universities. The internet itself, early AI research, and even companies like Google and Facebook all began in university environments. So if TON wants to support the next generation of builders, we need to meet them where they already are. And many of them are right there inside universities. And to be honest, across the US, we're seeing an incredible wave of curiosity from students, not just about crypto, but about how blockchain, AI, and decentralized infrastructure will shape the future of technology, and importantly, how they themselves can build, experiment, and create with these tools. So that's exactly why we launched TON on Campus. It's an initiative focused on bringing TON directly into universities, working with blockchain clubs, with technical communities, and student builders to help them understand the technology and be able to start building with it. Just last week, we hosted an event at Cornell Tech, and the curiosity in the room was absolutely incredible. Students weren't just listening to the convo, they were engaged, they were asking questions, they were exploring mini apps right in front of us, they were immediately thinking about what they could do, what they could build on TON inside Telegram, because they saw what it was like to open up Telegram, not have to download anything, not have to have another wallet and seed phrases. It was just seamless. And I think that was a first experience for many of them. So today we're going to talk about why universities matter so much to TON's long-term ecosystem growth, and how we're working with partners like Ep.5 and Stanford to support students who want to start building early. So, because none of this happens in isolation, I want to introduce and talk to William. Let's go into you first. TON's university efforts are strongest when we work alongside an ecosystem of partners who share the same vision. And as we know, Ep.5 shares a very similar vision to everything that we're working on here. So I'm excited to speak with you, William. And again, he's from Ep.5 Capital, he's been doing incredible work engaging with student communities and supporting builders across the ecosystem. As he mentioned, he's right there at a university right now, ready to meet and speak to students after our episode. So William, welcome to TON Real Talk. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes. And you?
I'm doing great. I was super excited for this episode. As I mentioned, working with the universities and the students, it's one of my favorite things. I find it super rewarding because the students are so eager, and I'm sure you see that every day too. So from your perspective, why is it so important to engage students early when it comes to new technology like blockchain?
Yeah, I think it's a number of things here. As you touched on and we touched on, I mean, a lot of the big disruptive ideas today came, like you said, I think you mentioned Google and Facebook yourself. They started on campuses. So when we get to universities like EPFL and Stanford, as I mentioned earlier, we really do see them as the R&D labs of the future, because you're not just looking at the students here, you're also looking at sort of the next generation of, I would say, like right now, sovereign builders. And then also the way we're seeing this is that we are developing infrastructure, for example, confidential compute GPUs. Right now, there's a lot of, agency and agents and agentic and payments, and this is very hot. And we'd like to see the students develop ideas and see what these fresh ideas they come up with that we can support with our infrastructure.
That's right. That's right. So what kinds of things are you actually seeing from the students right now? What kinds of things are they curious in? What kinds of things are they looking to build, ideas they have?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I've done this a few years now and with blockchain. What I've always tends to happen is when I walk into is that you see a lot of, it's all DeFi because they just want to it's like, where's the money? Or what's trending, what's hot. So it could be memes and things like this. I think that what happens a bit later on in their journey, as they get more structure, and maybe Ewan will touch on this a bit later because he's the guy in the universities, right? Is that you start to see like a more mature and more of a focus on utility. It's like what can we actually do with this blockchain other than just have a meme coin or do NFTs and things like this. And certainly that's what we're seeing more of. But it is a journey. Sometimes when you that year one, when you first come in, it's almost kind of like very stereotypical blockchain-y, crypto-y things. But then as you go through and as the courses commence and as you have more talks, and it's like, oh, we can do more things with it. I mean, I will come in sometimes and say, I'm looking at supply chain, for example, or we're looking at proving AI is legitimate using encryption and proving it with origin and using and securing that provenance using a blockchain. And that inspires ideas, and then it just pours. Once you start talking about a kind of a real world use case, and again, you will probably see this and can talk about this later, but that's when we start to see those ideas. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of agentic AI and using machine economy, I think it's called, right, where payments between AIs, and then that's with tokens. So there's this whole, as you mentioned actually, Angela, earlier, this convergence of AI and blockchain. And the way I see it, and I try and put across this, they shouldn't be seen separately. It's like they need to have a great utility. You combine these two things together, and actually what you're creating is just infrastructure rails to build great utility for commerce or for good payments. This week after next, we're sponsoring a conference and a hackathon here. And I'm going to be on stage with the head of the Treasury for United Nations Refugee Commission. She's already used blockchain rails. I think it was back in 22, 23, to get payments to Ukrainians when this all was well, it's still going on now, but it was even fresher then. So that's another thing we like to put in and bring to students. We can show them where the blockchain can be used for good as well. And just to finish, if we focus on Ton, of course, Telegram, is that how amazing is it that you can, or a student can build something, let's say, well, probably overnight, probably not in the daytime, overnight, wake up in the morning and have distribution to 1 million monthly active users through Telegram. I mean, that's what I think is pretty amazing about Ton and Telegram, that distribution.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I love the part you mentioned about the ideas and how once they start, they come like a waterfall. And that's exactly what I see, whether it's like they got into it and they're like, oh, this is what it feels like to open up an app inside Telegram, or somebody else had an idea and then they were like, oh, that gives me one. And it's just amazing. The more they learn, the more they see, the more they do and use it themselves. The ideas are just incredible. And I really, that's the exciting part for me. I absolutely love it. So You're actually speaking to students right after this episode, which is so exciting and really funny how this all worked out. But
Yeah,
what
yeah, it wasn't anyone think we planned it, wouldn't they?
I know, it's crazy. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing with them? Give us a peek inside.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be obviously about Ton and Telegram. And it's more of an inspiring talk to lead into one of the students that's then going to talk about more technical. And actually, it's a warm up to the hackathon that's happening in 2 weeks at the same time as the conference I just mentioned. Just for anyone watching this, I'm actually in Switzerland, in Lausanne, which is close to Geneva. And the university is called Ep.5. It's one of the top blockchain universities in Europe, if not the world. Is up there in the top 10 in the world and top 5 in Europe. So there's going to be students coming, and actually not necessarily the students. The hackathon's open, it's in person, unfortunately, for those of you in the USA and further afield. So I'm really going to be speaking about a little bit about what we are, Alphaton, how excited we are to be supporting this hackathon. And then we're actually going to leave it fairly open. I had a chat with my CTO, and what he'd like to see is really raw creativity. Certainly, he wants to see some agentic payments ideas in there. But other than that, we're going to let the students have free reign. And really, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there and try and be a bit, try. I'm going to be aspiring and mention what we want to see is also some really great use of the distribution of Telegram, mini apps, billion monthly active users, and the blockchain and AI and some decentralized AI and even Cocoon, so privacy AI and confidential compute. And if we could see some really great things coming from that combination of technology and infrastructure, this is what we're going to be looking for coming from that hackathon. And I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah, the AI stuff and the agentic tooling, everybody's eager to build and use. So can you not hear me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Just wanting to make sure. I couldn't tell if you could hear me. Yeah, so everybody's excited about the AI stuff. They love it. We've got a ton of agentic AI. We've got the agentic
You've got
AI.
a ton of agentic AI, did you say?
Well, a contest we just did. We just awarded $10,000 to, and we've got a bigger one coming. So it's just the excitement around it is cool because there's so much more that we can do, that people can do with these tools, and faster. Like if we can build things faster, then we can iterate faster, then we can go to market faster, we can make money faster. So yeah, I think it's exciting.
The other thing that's great about this, you mentioned, and I was at an event, where was it? It was in Dubai recently. And one of the things that was quite interesting, and it was a startup, people talk about startups on a panel, is that you can now build fast, quite cheap, and importantly, you can make mistakes fast and cheap. So you can learn from that quickly. In the past, that was really expensive thing to do, whether you're a student or even a corporation or a private company, whatever. But using AI now to help you code or vibe code, you can build a mini app and you can test it out really quickly in no time at all. And if it doesn't work, you haven't lost that much time and you haven't spent that much money doing it either. And this is what's also pretty exciting. You can really learn from failing and hopefully iterate into something that's going to be viral and go crazy.
Right, exactly. Hey, some of the mistakes in my career has turned out to be the best, revenue makers or things like that. So it's about iterating on your mistakes and making them better. So I agree with that. So along with this incredible university work that you are doing, how does AlphaTon think about supporting new builders entering the Ton ecosystem?
Yeah, it's interesting because as a public company, we've got to be thinking about revenues. What we would do is give advice. We do get a lot of very interesting businesses and ideas and startups coming our way. We can't help all of them, and we can't necessarily fund, or it's not the right time. But what we'll do is we'll have a constructive conversation about the pathway to revenue. Go to market strategies. I always give a lot of time to those ideas, and this is something else we were talking about. I'll be talking about to the students. It's so where we can, we will make some introductions as well, and maybe we know people that would be interested in that. Sometimes, if they hit the jackpot, and we're looking at something that actually we were going to build, or we needed to slot into a solution or a product we're building, then that made a bit of bullseye, and we can actually roll it out and say, well, let's talk more, because if you're building this thing, we were going to build it, so let's build it with you. So yeah, advice, sometimes actually implementation, and definitely the network, and feedback as well. But it's two-way street, because we get to see what's hot and we get some fresh ideas as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great, exciting part about being in our shoes, is we get to see some really cool ideas at very, very early. So you kind of just said, I was going to ask you, what advice would you give specifically to students watching this who are curious about building on Ton and don't know where to start? And advice is huge. Advice is a great thing. Is there a specific avenue or feedback that you would give them about where to start?
Yes, and I think it's actually what I'm going to say is, as I say, I'm Chief Partnership Officer, so I focus very much on commercial here. And I've always done that mixed a bit. I mean, I was doing a little bit of coding in the 80s, but I've kind of always blended a bit between sort of the sales side and it's the market. Is there a demand? Is there, what is the utility? What is it doing that's useful? And who is it that's going to want it? Because what I see a lot of, and by the way, this is not just with blockchain, I've seen this with other technologies and novel technology I've been involved in, that a lot of technical people will build some amazing things, and they're great, but they're not necessarily there. Well, there's not necessarily a market for it. So I think you've always got to maybe think a bit externally about what you're doing. Is that if you do want to build something as a business and then create revenue from that thing, definitely think about who it is and what it is you're building, and what that solution, what is it going to do, and is it really needed? And the other thing to think about is, great technology doesn't sell itself. It just doesn't. I mean, I've got this with some experienced founders I've worked with too, not at Alphaton Capital Mind, but with other ones, very experienced founders, and they kind of don't think there's any need to put that thing out there. They're just going to build it, launch it, and wow, everyone's going to think it's amazing like they do, and start using it. But then you see, that's the amazing thing, and that's why we, at Alphaton, one of the things we reasons we're really, really bullish and we love Telegram and Ton is the distribution. I mean, where else is there? What other blockchain has the distribution of 1 billion monthly active users that you can just pop up, you can spin off a mini app or whatever it is you want to do using blockchain, and don't seek permission, like, what's it called? App stores. You can just spin this thing up, publish it on Telegram, and you've got 1 billion monthly active users to distribute this to. And that's where this is the place to do it. If you're going to build something and you want to get it out there, do it on Ton with Telegram. But know your market, know who it is you want to attract, who is you're building for. Because just putting it out there, whether it is the great thing about Telegram or anything else that matter, if you don't get it out there and market it out, and you haven't got it and you don't think about that, it's just, you're just building for yourself and maybe your friends. I would say just keep that in mind, and have a look around. If you are thinking of doing something really commercial, have a look around and see what else is out there. And just because something is doing something not the same way you are building it doesn't mean it's not solving the same problem. I've worked with venture capitals before, and people have come along. One of the questions we always asked was, like, what's your competition? And when people say there isn't any, it's like, no, there is. I mean, okay, maybe there isn't one using confidential compute, mini apps, Ton, Telegram, but there's definitely something else out there probably doing something close to similar, and maybe it's not even the same thing, but it doesn't mean it's not competition. So that's another one I'd throw out there as well.
Really good feedback. I know. I teach an entrepreneurship class, and one of the things we hone in on is it solving a problem? And then will people actually pay for it? Because
will they pay for it?
It doesn't mean you're going to make money on it. Yeah. No.
How are they going to find it? How are they going to
find it? Right.
But then you've got these great systems and within Telegram with referrals, and things can go viral in no time at all within the Telegram ecosystem.
That's right. That's
But
right.
you've got to think about it. It doesn't just happen by accident. Well, maybe if you're lucky, it does, but most of the time it doesn't happen by accident. You know, I've got teenage daughters, and they think that all these things they're seeing that are going amazing games and apps and things have just happened. And I was like, do you know how much work went in the background there before you saw it? They're like, really? Can't we just build something and go, it's done? I'm like, no. There's a lot of backstage going on before you see the front stage.
Right. Yeah, that's a total fact there. Well, look, I know you have to run. It's been such a pleasure having you with us today. I'm excited to hear about your event. I want to see pictures. I want to hear all about the students. Keep me posted on how it goes. And I look forward to continue our conversation offline together with AlphaTon and Ton and about all the great things we're going to do together.
Well, I mean, I'm okay if you like just to sit here for 10 minutes more, because I'll be interested to hear what else is going to be said. The good thing is that I actually only have to go downstairs a few floors, and it's going to take 5 minutes.
This is awesome.
So if you are happy with me to stay and listen in, I'm happy to stay.
We are more than happy to have you stay with us.
Thank you.
So to be honest, let's continue the conversation. I think this is why these conversations matter, because the students we're meeting today, me at Cornell last week, you over there in Switzerland, the ones attending these workshops and joining these clubs, they're the ones who will be building the next generation of applications inside this ecosystem. And that's really an exciting thing for me. So throughout the year, on our end, we'll be visiting more universities. We're going to continue to build relationships with schools, with professors, blockchain clubs, and lots of student builders. So next, I want to actually speak right to that point. We're bringing in Koen Peng from Blockchain Builders, and also, as he mentioned, Stanford Accelerator. Koen has been deeply involved in helping grow the blockchain community at Stanford and well beyond Stanford. And I'm really excited we chatted together last week or 2 weeks ago at Denver. We had a great conversation. We did a recording together. So as Ton expands its university presence, I'm really excited to be with you, Koen, and to continue our conversations together. So thank you for being here. How is it going for you today?
It's pretty good. Thank you for having me here.
Awesome. Always. I appreciate it. I love chatting with you in Denver and hearing all of your, points and what you guys are looking to do this year. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the blockchain builder community at Stanford and what you guys are doing and, who passes through your doors and what's exciting going on there now?
Sure. Give you some background. So actually, the Stanford blockchain builder community is actually pretty active. So we have a class that's I would just go down the funnel. The top is like the class. We have students. Really, we invite some of the thought leaders in the space. We had a Vitalik, we had a Anatoly, had a CFTC chairman, etc. It's like a lot of folks, thought leaders in the space, in regulatory, in finance, in tech, in different spaces, AI as well, Ilya, to come to Stanford to share their view on crypto and like the intersection of crypto AI and the future of crypto, of a blockchain. So it's that's a like to make students interested. And then also we have an accelerator for students who are building. And also Stanford it's called a university, but it's more like an accelerator. Everyone is doing a startup. And also we have hundreds of VC teaching at Stanford. So every student it's quite spoiled here at Stanford University, where it's actually pretty competitive for VCs. It's actually flipped the balance. Just because every student, as their homework, is pitched to VCs, and we see good feedback on why their pitches need to be improved. So this is kind of a very unique environment. As we're replicating this environment in other universities, we started to become like more aware of this special environment where you just have like abundance of mentors, abundance of entrepreneurs, abundance of entrepreneurs who want to help, who want to mentor students, abundance of VCs who want to mentor and help. That kind of elevate a lot of students and make them more mature given their young age. Like 20 years old, they already raised like millions from Anderson Horowitz. That's actually not uncommon for Stanford University. I think this is a very unique environment for our accelerator. We're lucky enough to be started this community where in the past we have helped startups they raised more than 700, 800 millions from some of the best VC, tier one VCs. A lot of them also live in the Bay Area. They can come to campus or talk to students, and they cover all different angles like the tech, ZK, the infra angle and finance angle, fintech angle, the social angle, etc. It's like very diverse instead of startups. And then also we do conferences. I think Angela was in the BAS conference we did. So we organize really big conference twice a year. Once in Stanford, once in whenever there's a big conference. So usually it's December. It's a gathering of the top founder from Stanford community, but also thought leaders in the space to share what's latest, what's happening in the blockchain space. So overall, it's a pretty robust and vibrant community. And then we're starting to expand as we think this space is getting more into finance, and we're expanding to Wall Street and New York. And we're actually working with Canada Tech. We're actually like they have a very big community as well for builders and researchers, IC3. And we're working with for the East Coast for New York kind of presence.
I'm really excited for the New York side of things.
Yeah.
As you know, I spent a lot of time there, so that'll be exciting, and I'm eager to get involved there. I really liked how you explained this unique environment at Stanford. You're right, it's not like a university. And in my thinking, as you were talking about it, makes me think that this should be, should be the new way of the future. It's not just professors preaching lessons, right? It's this engaging, interactive abundance of supportive mentorship and funding and support, and just more real world help and support. It feels like, as opposed to the old traditional way of doing schooling. And I really, really enjoy hearing that. I think that that's what we need. I have a very strong feeling, and I'm passionate about, the way in the US the schooling is done. It's antiquated, and it needs a lot of help and support. I don't think the lessons keep up as fast as the technology keeps up. So I really enjoy this unique environment that you just explained, and I hope we can see that through to a lot of other institutions. So, Kun, what kinds of technologies over at Stanford and all of the things that you're working on, what kind of technologies are students most excited about right now?
I would say right now, it's mostly like around the AI, different aspect of AI, in the infra side, but the application side, and some of the application side obviously touch crypto and the blockchain, especially in the payment angle. Just because I think Bay Area is just very, very strong in terms of the AI tech, and Stanford is probably the epicenter, where the like OpenAI founder, Anthropic founder, NVIDIA founder, Google founder, all Stanford. Some actually started like Google at Stanford because of their PhD paper at the Stanford University. So that's why it's just so strong. As I mentioned earlier, Angela summarized, where it's just a strong community of mentors, entrepreneurs. For instance, the class here, the AI class here, is being taught by a researcher in OpenAI. It's not even a professor who just trained the model a few months ago and then just teach the students. They're not even a curriculum. Right? It's very fresh knowledge and extremely hard to get outside if you don't have the person who actually have experience training this model, which is very scarce, right? So this kind of a unique access and unique environment gives students some of the mentorship and growth opportunities where they get kind of some direct interaction, and then they feel excited about kind of the different angles of AI. And one of the one that probably will touch or touching blockchain is actually as William mentioned, is agentic payment. Our view of agentic payment is like using an analogy of internet. It's like internet probably in the mid 90s or early 90s, where it makes sense. A lot of things make sense, but it's early. It's like Google was born in late 90s and Facebook is early 2000. The reason why is because the ads model, advertising model, did not make sense if no one was using internet, right? So I think we're there where the agents people started using it, but it's early. But when you do startup, you want to do it early. You don't want to do it too early. You don't want to do it too late. But everyone's doing it. But we want to do it early, where you're mid 90 and late 90, people start to use agent. But a lot of things still feel like very high level, because you're just at the start or the beginning of something big, and then later on, when more and more people are using internet, then Google's advertising model is huge, right? Because if no one's using internet, you're obviously going to use television or newspaper for ads. You're not going to use internet for your advertisement. So as we're entering that exciting age of agentic kind of usage, we do see that crypto as a potential angle for the finance, for the financial aspect of agent, just because there's so much friction. Just like as human being, we have friction using crypto, and agent has friction using credit card. So that's why we think right now it's kind of the right moment, and quite some students are working on the intersection of these two, and crypto and AI and on the agentic payment aspect. And also another thing is, I mentioned internet analogy. I feel like the speed of change is accelerating, just because nowadays we have so much more distribution. We have Facebook, with Google. Back in the 90s, they're none, right? Today you can spin up something like in the AWS. Back then you had to spin up an entire data center, and today you can wipe code it. Before you had to hire a lot of coders, and it's very hard. So that's why we think like it's still early. However, it's not a matter of years. Maybe like it's a matter of 1 year or a few months, just because speed of change is accelerating. That's why today we heard a lot of apps like breaking record, reaching 1 billion revenue, a breaking record, 1 billion user or 1 million. This is because in this age, everything is mature, is there. So it's just once it hit product market fit, it just hit user, like massive user base, massive revenue instantaneously. So we do see it's early, but once we hit product market fit, it could be like just matter of month or matter of a year. It's not going to be like internet. It could take like even a decade.
Yeah, that
especially
makes it.
if you use we go this Telegram and by default Ton. Then you've
I think
got that
Telegram
distribution.
is great just because it's a huge distribution, and once they hit its product market fit is hit, then you can just massively distribute to the entire user base.
And it scales, right? Ton itself, then that blockchain, behind it was like, commercially minded. I think the back end strip there, it's just so scalable. It's so fast and it's so cheap. So it's like all the ingredients, right, are there. So when you do hit, it just goes.
Yeah, it would just it's like a plane,
it just goes
right?
stratospheric, it's like a wall actually. Yeah, like this and like this, like almost like a right angle, right? Boom, go.
Not even a hockey puck stick. So you kind of just you just kind of touched on it, Kun. I was going to say, what stands out first when when students first hear about Ton and Telegram mini apps? What stands out to them? Is it that distribution angle, or is it something else?
Onboarding and distribution. Are you out of users? I think technology has become a commodity. Blockchain has become a commodity, right? Especially with vibe coding, you're cutting all the developers in the middle. Like you yourself can be a developer if you are technical, assuming. So the tech is no longer mode, and just become commoditized. So what matters is you have the distribution, you have the go-to-market. The fact that Ton has like a lot of users and active users, right, is just once you have the PMF, which is like the friction is much lower now, is because you can experiment, you can do a lot of things yourself, and then once you hit that PMF, and Ton will just take you to the 100x or 10,000x, just because there's already distribution there and it's already like very low friction onboarding users.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. And, another thing that stood out for me when I was at Cornell was not just that distribution. I think that was definitely a wow factor, was also what it was like what the experience was like to use a mini app inside Telegram. They didn't have to go somewhere else and download something in an app store. They didn't have to, when I showed them the wallet, that was also another wow factor. They were like, wait, I already have a wallet and I don't have to download anything or remember seed phrases. It was all a lot of light bulbs going off. And I thought that was really cool. And it also shows me I have a lot of work to do across the US.
Yeah, but you only got the wallet. Sorry, I'm talking about the US. That was only July last year that wallet was enabled
That's right.
on Telegram. So, it's going there nicely. But we do when we're at panels, my colleagues and I. That's often what we're you made me think about, Angela. We'll say, how many of you have Telegram? And okay, if it's a techie based audience, most of the hands go up. And if it's not, you still get a decent amount of hands go up. But it's like, how many of you know there's an app store? There's apps there. You don't get many hands going up. Then you go,
Right.
okay, so go and check it, because there's like gaming studios on there. There's there's dating, whatever. There's and like no, and then you turn around and say, how many of you know you have a wallet? You get a few more, but it's very much echoing what you're saying, Angela. I think we're really at the start here, and once people, whether that's the students or anyone, realizes how this is, they go, it's like I say, it's a super app. You have the super app. It does, and now I think it's the start. We're seeing that implementation and those things being built on it, and that's why Alpha Capital. I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing. We firmly believe it's untapped.
Yeah.
It's the blockchain with the ultimate distribution and the ultimate platform to build. And the best thing is, it's still decentralized. It's still data not sharing data. It's not Facebook or Meta products. They're not selling data. They're not, what you build is yours. What your identity is yours. You decide whether you want to monetize your data. And that's one of the things that we is one of the fundamental drivers of what we do, and why we supporting Ton Telegram is that whole privacy side of it as well. And the other thing, I've thought something else now, is you get more revenue. You're not giving away, like, unlike, I don't know, whatever, Android, or is that the fit, you can publish your app, and B, most, revenue's going, okay, there's some fees there, but it's nothing like Apple and Android.
That's right. I think creators made something like $38 million on Telegram last year. So it's completely, it's a whole new world. It's higher. Yeah. No, I love what you guys are doing. I watched Brittany Kaiser from Alpha Ton on stage talking about Telegram and Ton, and I'm just like, yes, you guys are awesome. You are doing our work for us. So thank you, because you guys are really preaching the good word about what's going on and what the opportunities are within this big super app. I think we also have some educating to do on what is a super app, to really help people understand the depths of it and the opportunities that lie within. So, Koen, what kind of opportunities do you think Ton can create for student builders specifically?
Yeah, I think. Also, I like the fact you mentioned like the user experience. As I mentioned, a lot of people mentioned, and William also mentioned about the distribution, but user experience matters a lot. Just because crypto in general has like not very natural human centric user experience, especially if you're not a crypto user. And the fact you can lower that friction, make people even not realize it's using crypto, that's huge. And I just want to kind of mention that point also. In terms of opportunity, I think you're doing the right thing. You're going to a lot of different campuses. Like Cornell is great, very much an innovation hub in the East, and then also like Stanford and Berkeley in the West Coast, where I think you can work with some of the university where there's like a lot of builders, student builders, and then talk to them, engage with them, and provide some potential opportunity for them to do like 0 to 1, even like mentorship, like town specific mentorship, but also like general mentorship because they're a student, right? And then they probably need to know how to build a company and etc. So that kind of opportunities will be very valuable, especially you meet them early on, and then you help them early on. And then also the students are probably looking for some sort of grant opportunities for you to go from 0 to 1 before you fundraise, because once you fundraise, it's a different dynamic. But think about like how to enable them, help them out in the early stage of their journey, and which is mostly, I will say, the grant opportunities and mentorship opportunities, within Tom ecosystem, but also general building a company kind of mentorship. That'll be very, very good. And then also like if they're interested in building Tom, having the access to the right person to answer questions, I think that will be also quite valuable. Having like kind of interaction with those student builders. I think that's what I think based on my interaction with students. I talk to a lot of students at Stanford more, but some other university also, that those are the things that looking for.
Thank you. That's really helpful. And I actually took some notes there because we want to deliver that. I really want to deliver to the students. I see such incredible work from them when they have the support that they need. So Kun, I want to thank you. You are just on the pulse with both the tech and the students, and I'm really grateful to collaborate with you and also to bring Ton to your community. You've got a really bright community out there, and I think the ambitious along with the bright makes it really an exciting opportunity for everybody involved. So thank you.
Yeah.
And as a whole, our goal isn't just to introduce Ton to students, right? It's to help them become builders, because the students today are tomorrow's founders. So I really want to reiterate why this is such an important part and why I'm so passionate about it. I see such big opportunity here for our students. There's one student that left after the Cornell event, came up to me racing to show me this idea he has, and now he wants to build it on Ton. And since then, he's already started building it on Ton, and I've got the first draft. And I'm just really excited because it's things like that that just remind me why we're doing this and why it's really an exciting time here at Ton. So guys, thank you. Today's conversation really highlights something important, and that's that the future of any technology ecosystem depends on the people who build on it, right? Many of those future builders are sitting in classrooms today, and through Ton on campus, through partnerships with communities like AlphaTon and Kun, with all of your organizations, and collaborations with leaders and visionaries, and blockchain clubs across the US, we're working to support students who want to explore, who want to experiment, and who want to build. So if you're a student watching this and you want to learn more about Ton or bring Ton to your university, I would love to hear from you. We want to make that happen. And to everyone joining us today, thank you. Thank you for being a part of Ton Real Talk, for being a part of our community, for listening in today. And I would like to send it over to you guys for any closing comments that you might have.
Go ahead. You first.
I think you've pretty much echoed what I was thinking, Angela. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're here to support again. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for giving this stage and what you're doing, Angela. With Ton. As I said, I think we said enough in the last sort of 43 minutes or so. Go and build. Go and make some mistakes. You can make them fast and cheap now, which we couldn't do in the past. I can't wait to see what comes out. And as you say, I think the universities are the research and development labs of blockchain, AI. Mix it all up, everyone. Build some great stuff, and let's see what you can do.
Awesome.
Yeah, pretty much what William said, right? Just start building. Just you have everything. You're not that technical. You can vibe code it. So you just startup is all about feedback, right? Even like great company in Coinbase, they don't know what they want to do, but what they wanted is make mistake or run fast, so they have a feedback, so they can learn from it. So what matters the most for startup is learning. And you don't do anything, just putting something doc or design, and you don't get the feedback. You build something, now you have everything ready and distribution also to start to get feedback. And you learn from it and you iterate from it. And then that's how you become a company or a startup and then a company. So just start building, start doing some actions.
Yeah, you're right. There's no other place to do that. Better place to do that on blockchain than Ton, because of that 1 billion monthly active user distribution within Telegram. There's nowhere else you can do that with blockchain.
And you get more feedback, more concrete feedback.
That's what I mean. Yeah, to get that feedback loop as well. That's what I meant. Yeah, I mean you could do it, but having that and the feedback, this is the place to do it.
Game changing. You heard the guys. Build. Just get started.
Yeah.
Get started building on Ton inside Telegram today. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for Ton Real Talk, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.